Hello, long time no see. It's been a long time since I made a video like this. This is your host Alex, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite fighting game, Killer Instinct, and the latest updates that came out in 2023 and in 2024. The latest update never really offered anything new, just a rebalance with some buffs and nerfs for all the characters. And nothing new was added, sadly. No ultimates for the characters that were never given one, and no new stages for some characters that deserve one, like Rash and General Rom. The only new stages we got are the training room and the debug void, which is basically the end credit stage, which are absolutely nothing new, just disappointing additions. And you can't even access the debug void in rank, so why add it in the first place? These latest updates left me so disappointed. I was expecting more, and whenever I play this game, I sometimes get bored of it. However, whenever I get back into playing the game, and whenever I see a good amount of people still playing it, that means we as gamers support the game, and way past post-production, and we continue to play KI and still keeping it alive. That means we want a new game, as in the sequel to KI 2013, because it has been long overdue. Once the sequel of KI 2013 gets made, I want it to be fully M-rated, showing off a lot more blood and gore. Mortal Kombat shouldn't be the only franchise to carry that trademark as a heavily violent video game. Killer Instinct should be carrying that amount of violence too, as depicted in the comics, illustrated and drawn by the publisher Dynamite Comics. A franchise like Killer Instinct should never die and never be placed back in the vault. It should stay as an Xbox/Microsoft brand, as relevant and prominent as the likes of Halo and Gears of War, and as a premier fighting game under the ownership of Xbox Game Studios. It should be at the same level of prominence like Super Smash Bros. Is for Nintendo, as well as the likes of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat as the premier fighting game franchises being multi-platform. When I discovered KI 2013 during the release of the Xbox One, I fell in love with the game, and it made me love fighting games again. And KI to me is king over other fighting games. Killer Instinct is a fighting game for me in which I can master the entire roster, where I manage how to play with all of the characters and find ways to win. And I can learn from my losses even when I have my moments of salt, and I can pick a character who I'm good with and be confident with that particular character in winning matches. This game makes me fully understand how do character archetypes function. A balanced character like a Shoto, just like Jago and Ryu from Street Fighter, an all-around character. Sabrewulf as a rushdown character, up close and very fast. Glacius as a zoner, attack from a distance with Shatter, Hail, and his Ice Lance. I know I was supposed to acknowledge this in other fighting games, especially Street Fighter, but Killer Instinct makes me fully understand fighting game archetypes even more. Of course, I understand Marvel vs. Capcom for being a fast-paced fighting game, but my soul belongs to KI. I was always bored of other fighting games, and they don't interest me like they used to until this came around. Whenever I play Street Fighter and other fighting games, I'll always go back to KI, and I choose that over others. If Xbox Game Studios and Microsoft are nice enough to fully bring back KI into the scene with the sequel to KI 2013 being made, and with the right developer for it, I want the entire roster to return, even the guest characters, Rash, Arbiter, and General Rom. They belong to KI and they fit right in my opinion, and also giving them the full treatment of no mercies, ultimates, and stages of their own that they deserve. Of course, one day, I want to talk about my ideas on new characters, stages, new moves, and rebalancing the roster. For example, a second Instinct mode and a second Ultra Ender for each character. In case anyone noticed this or not, remember that Gargles was the only character with 2 Ultra Enders? So why not have the entire roster with that treatment? I do have ideas for brand new characters for the KI sequel, but that's for another day. Xbox and Microsoft should start caring for the fans on what they want and listen to the fans, and give KI more focus instead of focusing on the same type of games like first-person shooters and making Elder Scrolls-like games like Sea of Thieves. I'm one of those people who hold passion for the franchise, and no matter how many people play it, or I play it every once in a while because I want something new for KI, or in this case, we want something new with KI, I hold passion, or we hold passion in our hearts and souls for the franchise, and it should not be underrated. Another thing from KI that made an impact for me is the music. I love how the music in KI 2013 made it diverse for each character. For example, Orchid's theme is like you're in a club, has the lyrics talking about breaking someone's face. TJ's theme is rap with lyrics about a fallen champion making a comeback. Hisako's theme with rock instrumentals with the elements of a Japanese horror movie. Jago's theme with Tibetan monks singing their lyrics. Gargos' theme with its music that makes you feel like you're playing Doom, and so forth. I love how each music track goes with the flow of the battle. With a 60 hit or more combo, kinda brings out that rage like, I can do this! When characters are idling around, the music slows down and you would often hear the KI theme, or you would hear the remix of a track from the original KI from some of the characters. Or in this case with Arbiter, you would hear the track in Pen from Halo 2, and when in danger, it gives out that climactic feel as if it's close to the end of the battle. And lastly, for each character doing an Ultra, they all have their own flow and on their final attack. To me, that is unique in a fighting game. I know that I may not have acknowledged other fighting games with a similar feature of music, or at least that's what I know of, but KI is the only one that I acknowledge the most. If the sequel gets made, I don't want the music to be given an overhaul, as in giving each returning character a brand new track, a remix of an old track or otherwise. The music tracks for each character in KI 2013 are as great as they are even now. It would be very difficult to surpass something that good. Obviously, for the new characters, they can have a brand new track that can fit to their style, depending how they are. Whenever KI returns for a sequel, I want composers like Mick Gordon from Seasons 1 and 2, as well as Atlas Plug and Cell Dweller from Season 3 and post-Season 3 for Kilgore, Shin Hisako, and Eagle, to return to compose for the music. In my opinion, all three of them did so well with the soundtrack of KI 2013. All three of them can capture the action of KI with each character, and all three of them can do it again. In quick summary, as I conclude this video, a rebalance of characters in this game isn't enough to get people interested in KI. If they were to work on this game with new and more features, then maybe it would have fully brought more people in. I made a new friend who I found on YouTube. Go check out his channel. He makes an amazing Argonauts player. This game is the only one that makes me fully understand fighting games and character archetypes, and fun to use them all. Xbox and Microsoft should start fully listening to the fans, and I would like for them not to go third party and admitting defeat in the console market, but I fear it might happen. Anyway, once a sequel is made, I want the combat system to be just like in KI 2013, with added features, new moves, maybe start having a first attack perk when you land the first attack, new characters, new stages, make it M-rated for its heavy violence, and for all the characters to return. Keep the same music, and with the new characters, make them as badass as in the previous games with a huge budget that this game should have. And not really have the free-to-play plan with one free character for a week, just with a starting roster plus seasons of DLC. If you have any ideas you have in mind, drop your thoughts and your ideas down in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and you can subscribe for future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.